Hello, I'm the new video of Dynasty War, and today we're going to talk about upping the skill or not. And today's we're going to talk about Mighty Meng Huo. So I haven't talked about leveling up skills or not because I finished the previous ones, and now Mighty came out a while ago, a couple months ago, and then the newest hero, Gentleman Lu Su, was also out. So I decided, well, let's continue the series for like 2 more episodes and talk about it. So obviously, I'm not going to talk about the Transcended yet. I'm just going to talk about the regular version and the Awakened version, just because the Transcended it's a lot more. Well, it's actually very little to talk about, but much more in depth and much more complicated. And honestly, a lot of the hero has really poor transcendent skills. So for Mighty Meng Huo is the newest, the latest 777 amulet hero. So it's a very valuable one, and it's the only 777 amulet shield hero. Now we do have a very strong shield hero already, so he has to be pretty strong to be this expensive. So this right here you're seeing is a level 50 pre-awakened Mighty Meng Huo, and you can see his damage is pretty bad. I would say it's pretty bad just by looking at it, but if you think about it, it's actually pretty high total damage, and I'll show you the numbers later. But we can't see the awakened version. We have to see the transcended version after the transcended version is released in the gallery. You can't no longer view the level 60 transcended version. But however, I do have some stats from the level 60. As you can see, at level 70, it's pretty high damage, close to 1,000 damage per hit. And the awakening skill you can see here, for 5 seconds, he reaches a invincible status, and at the same time he will absorb damage and convert it to HP. So basically he's not even life stealing, he's just getting HP. He's just getting HP. Basically that's how it is. Couple heroes that can work with him that I'll go over in a bit, and different ways for offense or defense that you can use him. And obviously I'll focus on, should you even level up his skill, or should you level up his awakening skill, or you don't even have to do either of them, or both of them are very important. So we're gonna take a look at that. Okay, so right here, this is the damage that he is doing at level 50 and level 60. As you can see, at level 50, it's 671 damage per hit, and he does 12 hit in total. So this is the total damage. He slammed the ground 3 times, each time hitting 4 units. So he can't do the 8,000 damage to one single target, but he does about 2,000 damage to each target if the 4 targets remain the same target. And it does if it doesn't die. I believe that's how it is. And at level 60, 15 out of 15, he does 849 damage and a total of over 10,000 damage. So as you can see, over these 10 level and the 5 extra skill, I'm guessing like the 10 extra level probably give you up to like 750-ish, and then the 5 extra skill give you another 100. So this is pretty high damage. For killing troops, small troops, 1 hit, it's definitely enough. So he would be able to kill 12 units. Not insignificant when you're talking about troops like alchemists or dragon guards, or even heavy cavalry. I don't think 849 damage is enough to kill a heavy cavalry. But if we talk about something with higher HP, for example, like Tiger Warriors, I know at max level is 2400, with treasure is about 3000. So it does take 3 hits to kill one. So in one skill, he could kill 4 Tiger Warrior. In that case, that's pretty significant. That's 40 housing space already, which is a lot, which is 1/6 of the total housing space you can have. Now, if you have Hero Seal, if you give him the 30% extra damage, skill damage, this is the damage per hit at the corresponding level. So at level 50, before Awakening, with the Hero Seal, he can do more damage than at level 60, 15 out of 15. As you can see, that's a huge amount of damage per hit. Now, killing units troops that might not be doesn't seem that useful, doesn't seem that much. But when this damage is applied to a hero, this is a lot of damage, especially at level 60, 15 or 15 with the hero seal. This is 1100 per hit. So you can do 4000 damage to a single hero with not 4000 damage, 3000 damage to a single hero, or even 4 heroes at the same time, which is a big amount of HP, close to, depending on what type of hero it is, it could be over 30 to 50% of their total HP. Now for hero seal, you can use many other hero seal. As any passive hero, you can always use Last Stand, the one that gives you rage, or once your HP is low. You can also use, for defense, you can use the eyes something, the one that slows attack speed of the enemy. Many others you can use. For offense, you can use Command and Ambush. They are pretty good as well. But the one hero skill that directly influence or affect his skill is Ferocity, which affects his skill damage, and pretty cool. But probably not a lot of people will use that because this is probably not your main source of damage. So for skill, I'd say definitely you have to increase it, like level it up as soon as possible, because although you want him for the survivability, you want him for the invincibility, you want him for the tankiness, but the other thing that he can offer is his passive skill, which is just his damage. So you want his damage. Now on the other hand, for his awakening skill, I don't think you have to upgrade it as soon as possible, depending on what you're using him for. If you're using him for defense, I don't think this is as necessary. But for offense, yes. Why? Well, on defense, because the 50% from 18%, it's not that big of a difference. It's 32% difference. So, well, it's a big amount, but why is it not that important? Because, for example, in that 5 seconds, if he takes a 10,000 damage, he will be healed 5,000 HP or 1,800 HP. Now, if in the 5 seconds during a defense, he is only getting damage 10,000, your attacker is probably not going to win anyways. After the 5 seconds, they probably cannot do an extra 1,800 damage to you anyway. So healing 1,800 or 5,000 might just be the same result. You still defend successfully while your Meng Huo is still here. It's not going to be that. But for example, if they can do like 60,000 damage in that 5 seconds, you will be healing 30,000 damage to 12,000 damage. At the end, you will still be completely healed up. Unless you're level 70 with treasure, then you might not completely healed up. But you get the point, is when they do a lot of damage, you will be fully healed anyways. But when they do a small amount of damage, they might not be even able to take away whatever you just healed. So for defense, it's not really that necessary. You might need to upgrade it once or twice, because at 34 and 50, the difference is just 16%. You are just missing out on 16% of the total damage as health, and on defense, it's not going to be that big of a difference. Now offense, why is it the big difference? Because on offense, you want to heal as fast as much as possible, because on offense, once you're done with the 5 seconds, you are prone to getting destroyed like immediately, and your enemy, which is the defender, is not going to get weaker and weaker. They're just going to be the same thing. There's still going to be towers hitting you. In contrast, on defense, your enemy, the attacker, is only going to get weaker and weaker as their troops dies, and as their hero dies, they just get weaker and weaker, so they can't do as much in the beginning. But on the offense, it's different. Your enemy, the defender, the towers are still going to be there, and in fact, on offense, your Meng Huo might not catch as much attention as he does in defense, so he might not have a chance to get hit by like 60,000 damage on offense, and therefore cannot heal himself all the way up. And because you need his HP after he finishes his skill, much more than on defense, because on defense, after he finishes his skill, most of the time your attacker might be completely dead already. If not, they probably can three flag you anyways. So on offense, it's much more important to get the awakening skill. But if you're going on offense, you probably want his damage too. So on offense, you need a fully geared out Meng Huo. Treasure wise, obviously, it's the HP, the healing, the shield, and the spawning the heavy cavalry. It's basically the same thing with the other shield hero. But for hero seal, there are so many different choices. Probably most likely you want to go with Last Stand. Ferocity is a good one. Couple actually he works with a lot of different hero seal. They might not directly affect his stats, but a lot of them are pretty useful with him. But this is it for this video. I'll see you guys.